30-year-old virgin turns baby mama? Tell me your thoughts down below, guys.
What I really wish is that for you men to be honest with women from the beginning. I've been battling this for years, crying for years, because I went from a virgin at almost 30 years old to a single mother. And it hurts me because I've been silent for too long. And all I hear people say is they disrespect women and mothers all the time. But they don't never talk about how men lie and deceive women. And they don't even want to be with them. I wish I would just be honest with women before the trauma begins. So I went from a virgin to almost 30 years old to a single mom, to be in trauma, to be in survival mode. That's what obsessed me the most. Like, I was a good girl my whole life, loyal to people that deceive me the most. And that's what messes me up the most. Like, I didn't even have a choice whether or not to be in survival mode. But you men don't care, you just move on to the next. You don't care who you put in survival mode. And y'all not trying to elevate at all. You're not trying to be with any woman. You're not trying to be with the woman that you really want to be with. Because you play games. You all play games for generations to come.
30-year-old virgin to single mother is crazy as hell. Like, the timeline is crazy as hell, I know. But to wait your entire 20s and get to your 30s and decide to finally give it up, and the first man you give it up to turns you into a single mother, a baby mama who says she is in survival mode. Nah, that's crazy. How does something like that even happen? I need more details. I need more context, but I'm sure it's coming. All right, so this black woman looked traumatized, y'all. She got a blank stare, staring at the screen, mug on her face, bun to the back, looking tired, wore out, stressed out, and just at her wit's end. But this is why I say there's no glory in being a good girl. Like, waiting all that time to turn around and ultimately get played to the left. This is why a lot of so-called good girls have a high level of trauma. When you're a no-good, lying, narcissistic, downright bad girl, 304 or whatever, like, those women, they mental health be a little bit better. I know you're probably like, how, what, where? Like, they mental health when it comes to men. I'm going to be specific. When it comes to dealing with the opposite sex, they already know a lot about how these men are going to operate. They've seen the dark sides of men. They've moved through enough men to know how 80% of them are going to pretty much act the same, and like there's a small percentage of men that are actually going to be exceptional good men, and they don't come that often, and only so many women get those men. And so for everybody else, you're either going to consistently get played and let it drag you to the bottom and have you feeling like how she feel, overwhelmed, played, disgusted, like she just cannot handle what is obviously happening to her. And even though she wants to feel so special and so unique, that story has happened to so many women out here. And they still have to pick that shit up and keep it moving and take care of their child. I know she's feeling down and out right now, and so many people want to feel sorry for her. But really, it's time for her to go ahead and just accept the reality of what has happened with this man and get herself together, get her shit together, get her bag together, and take care of her child and just move on. Because there's more men out here, boo. More men.
That 30-year-old lady that went from a virgin to a single mom, she thought she wasn't going to get played because she kept those legs closed. And here's the reality, right? Y'all be looking for validation in these men, and y'all be listening to these men and what these men be telling y'all to do. I feel like if you genuinely stayed a virgin all these years until you was 30, you should have did it for you, not for no man. Not because you thought you wasn't going to get played. Not because you thought a man would respect you more. You should have solely did it because that's where your morals lay. And so I just feel like the fact that she's trying to make the whole situation about how she was a virgin since she was 30 and then she got played and was lied to and manipulated. Like, yes, that's what men do. What does you being a virgin have to do with anything in that situation? I don't know. I could be insensitive, but I just feel like, what does her being a virgin have anything to do with the fact that she's a single mom? People become single moms every day because men are just manipulators.
What I'm not going to do is get on the internet and bash another black woman, but I am going to ask some questions. Number one, so we could wait 30 years, but we could not wait for marriage. You didn't even know what you was missing out on, sister, and you're not really missing out on nothing. This your first time, allegedly. But yeah, I don't understand, and I'm not saying you can't get married and still end up a single mom, but what was the reason of waiting 30 years if you wasn't at least gonna get married first? Okay. Did you know that you could have intercourse and not get pregnant? You was tired of waiting. Okay. You didn't have to have a baby. Okay. Last, does holding on to your virginity cause you to lose common sense? Now, I didn't make that question. America made that question, but the people want to know.
My take on the whole girl who's 30 years old, who's a 30-year-old virgin or whatever, and she got with the man, he left her, and now she's like a single mom thing. And my understanding is that she felt as though because she was the good girl type of thing, that should have happened to her, as in being left and being made a single mom. And I think it makes me wonder, like everybody's been given their piece, but it makes me wonder, it's like, I can relate to that mindset to an extent, in the sense of like, I feel as though that idea of being the good girl in life and thinking like, if you stay to yourself, if you follow the rules, if you don't do anything scandalous or anything like that, then life will just work out for yourself, comes from being sheltered at an early age. And as a girl whose parents wanted to shelter, in terms of they didn't want me going out, staying late, going to parties, doing anything that wasn't just school and back and church, you know what I mean? Like, I think that's where it starts, this whole good girl mentality of like, let me not go against the grain, let me not do anything that's going to bring any type of drama or scandal to myself. And like, what happens when you don't, I don't know if rebel is the right word in your early years, to actually start experiencing the world. Because when you rebel, like if you have strict parents or parents that shelter you or try to hide you from the world, and when you start to rebel, let's say in your teens or early 20s even, right? When you rebel, you get that sense of freedom, but you also start to see the world for what it really is. Like, and when I say that, it could be from sneaking out to just taking a stand and doing things that you really wanted to do for yourself, whether that be travel or whatever, take a job somewhere or go, you know what I mean? Just do the things that would expose you to different dynamics, different relationships, and just for you to really absorb what it really means to be part of a society, right? And it just like, it makes me wonder if I didn't go through that stage of like rebelling, and taking my freedom in a sense. Because it's like, look, my parents are Nigerian. If you're Nigerian, then you understand. At a certain age, you just have to take it. You have to take your freedom. Stop asking, stop waiting. If they gonna yell, let them yell, type of thing. To do more scandalous behavior, to make my mistakes, to surround myself with different people that weren't just people that are approved by my parents. It makes me wonder if, had I not done that in my teens, early 20s, if I would still have the mentality of being the good girl who's the virgin, the good girl who doesn't go against the grain, the good girl who is the pick-me woman, you know what I mean? Of like, oh, I don't do anything bad. I don't date around. I don't do anything like that. Like, I think it makes me wonder, like, if you don't rebel when you're younger from sheltered parents, is that not how you will end up with that mindset of like, if I do everything right my whole life, when I finally am, ready to give myself to somebody, or when I finally am ready to have my happily ever after, it's all going to work out because I did everything right. I did it by the book, but you know what I mean? And it's just not true. It's just not true. Like, you're not guaranteed anything. You could be a saint all your life and still be done dirty by anybody. Like, I don't know. It's just sad to see. It's just sad to see. Like, sheltered parents I do think, like, parents that over shelter their kids create these adults who are so naive at such an age, 30, having that mindset of like, I've been a virgin my whole life. That means the first guy I'm going to give myself to, he's never going to do me wrong. Like, it's just,
going from being a 30-year-old virgin to a single mom is crazy. So I'm sure if we have the same For You page, you've seen this woman come on the internet crying. Like, she's actually hysterical because she waited until after 30 to have sex, and now she's a single mom, and she was crying like, men, they just lie, this, that, and the third. Like, it's actually quite sad to see. But I feel like there's so many things that I took away from this video. Well, first of all, I was just like, girl, you made it to 30. You might as well just waited for the ring. Like, how did you make it to 30 as a virgin, but not till marriage? But maybe she wasn't doing it for religious purposes. I don't know. But one thing that I took away is women need to date, especially if you do want a relationship in the future. I wholeheartedly agree. You should not, center your life around men. But at the same time, you should casually date, get experience, because you could really find out very quickly without giving it up that men are liars. Men will look you in the face. I have on a shirt that says Jacksonville Jaguars. Men will have on this shirt and look you in the face and say, this doesn't say Jacksonville Jaguars. What are you talking about? They will lie. And a lot of times, and she was saying in the video, men lie. A lot of times, Men don't be lying. We be lying to ourselves. Okay? Y'all will believe what's coming out of his mouth more than his actions, right? Like, at this point in my life, can't nobody get over on me. No man can get over on me. And then second, coochie isn't a prize. I wholeheartedly believe that our body is a temple and we should treat it as such. But you have to find a man who also believes that, right? And there's some women out there who think that coochie is a prize and it is enough to keep a man. They can get it comes too easy. Men can get some so easily. They can pay $40 for it. Like, it's not kept the way, that it used to. It doesn't, virginity don't even hit. There's some men who will literally talk down like, oh, you ain't never had sex before, like, what's wrong with you? Like, there's even men who will say like, oh, you're 28 and you don't have no kids, it must be something wrong with you. Like, it just don't hit the same no more. So like, stop holding, I'm not saying have sex with everybody, definitely not saying that, but stop thinking that if you give it to a man, it's just like a baby's not going to change a man. Giving a man sex, a man who's not a good person is still going to not be a good person.
Baby, the way y'all are dragging my good sis, who is the 30-year-old virgin turned single mother, y'all are wrong. Sis, I see you. You need somebody to talk to? Talk to me. Look, I gave mine up at 13. Look what I mean. Single mother. You gave yours up at 30. And look where you at. Single mother. It's okay. We fall down, but we get up. Get up, girl. Pick yourself up. Shit, dust it off. Let yourself off and try it again. Try it again. But for those of you that keep on making all these think pieces on homegirl, y'all wrong as fuck. Because y'all know this was social media for. She ain't wrong. She fucking right. She tried. My only issue with this whole ordeal is you waited 30 years. 30 years. Why didn't you get married first? Even though it ain't guaranteed that the marriage was going to stay. The man, he probably just going to marry you just to break your virginity. Because, look, I think dudes get a million points or something if they get a virgin. I don't know how that go, but I think that's probably the roundabout points they get. But you was a virgin, sis. This is 2025. Whenever it happened, even if it was in 2015, 2014, girl. First come love, then come marriage, then come your 30-year-old virgin that your baby mama ass in a baby carriage. That's the way it's supposed to go. But why didn't you get married? Why was that not? Girl, call me.
The 30-year-old virgin, the woman who held out being a virgin for 30 years just to end up being a baby mama, y'all going at her. Y'all on her neck. I thought y'all was going to be on her side. I thought y'all was going to have some sympathy for her. But here's what I got to say about it. Listening to her talk, I feel like her being a virgin, it was really only because the right opportunity didn't present itself until it presented itself. Like, there's no way you went that many years if you being a virgin was built off standards and boundaries. And I say that because when it's built off standards and boundaries, you would have required more in order to give that man the most precious thing that you've been holding on to for that long. But if it was just a situation where the situation just never presented itself to who you wanted to give it to until you turned 30, that's a different story, right? This guy who took her virginity, I'm willing to bet this was something that she really liked. Like, he physically might have been what she really liked. It was something about him that was different from everybody else who tried. And that's the reason why she gave it up to him. It wasn't because she had all of these standards and boundaries that kept her being a virgin for that long. It was just the right man never presented himself until that time. And unfortunately, the man who presented himself at that time wasn't a man who was wanting to take her serious. It was just a man who just wanted something to do, right? And so she ended up getting pregnant and she ended up being a single mother. But this was not a situation of a woman who held out her virtuous virginity because she was waiting to marriage and she wanted to find the right person, and that's why she wasn't gonna have sex until the end. No, if that man had probably found her at 25, she would have gave it up at 25. If he had found it at 22, she would have gave it up at 22. He was just the man that she was willing to give it up to.